Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mayscout here, and in today's video I want to talk about the farm, more specifically where all the vendors are located. If you stick around to the end of the video, I've made a rough map of the farm, so if any of you out there are having trouble visualizing the layout, this one's for you. And before I start, I want to point out there are three main buildings that most of the vendors are going to be located in or around. There's the watermill building, the communications building, and the hangar. So starting out with the vendors that we already know from IGN's tour, Tara Karn will be the farm's cryptarch, and she will be hanging out in the watermill building. Now, as far as I can see, she's the only one that's going to be in this building, because there's not really much space for anyone else. Now, the next vendor we saw on this tour was the Postmaster. Now, the Postmaster will have the same function and same frame as Destiny 1, just a different model. Eververse is returning. There's a large tent in between the waterfall and communications building, with the Eververse logo plastered across it. For those of you who don't know, Eververse is Destiny's microtransaction system, where you spend real money to get in-game items. In the communications building itself, I'm not really sure what's going to go inside of there. There's not much room and it's really cramped. However, I suspect that Hawthorne will be on the porch outside. The only really clip of her we've seen so far has her standing on a porch in the farm, and the communications building is the only building with a porch on it. Behind the communications building is where Dead Orbit will likely stand. Moving on to the hangar, there is a ton of places for vendors to stand. In a small area just outside the hangar, we can see Crucible bots being worked on, and Bungie hinted that this is where Lord Shaxx will actually stand. Now, if the Crucible Quartermaster made it out alive, he will likely stand next to Shaxx behind the same long table. Now, if you go just above Shaxx, you will see the most extensive armory in the farm, leading me to believe that Banshee or another gunsmith will be right here. Going to the hangar itself, immediately to the left there is another smaller arms room that feels like the Vanguard Quartermaster could go here. Moving to the back of the hangar, there is a workstation that looks very similar to Amanda Holliday's workstation in Destiny 1, so hopefully Amanda made it out okay. So that covers all the returning vendors from Destiny 1. Now, there are a few missing, notably the Speaker and the Vanguard. Now, there are reasons for those not being at the farm, as the Speaker is kind of missing in action and the Vanguard have gone to their different planets, as shown in the gameplay reveal. But what about the other two factions, Future Warcall and New Monarchy? Well, I couldn't find their respective logos anywhere in the farm. I pored over the entire place, couldn't find them anywhere. And it kind of makes sense that New Monarchy is gone, since we don't have a city for them to rule anymore. But the FWC should still be here. This is basically the war they've been talking about all these years. So let's talk about the map. The farm is a pretty square area from boundary to boundary, and based on the sun rising and setting, I'm saying that the north is in the direction of the hangar and the forest. There's not really much for me to say here. You can look at the map for yourself. You've got the lake to the east, Soccer and the Traveler Shard to the west, and the cliffs to the south. The stream separates the soccer field from the rest of the area, running north-south, and the road wanders through the farm, going generally east-west. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section down below. Now, I posted the map on Twitter, so if you want a full HD picture that you can zoom in on, go over there and check it out. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed or found the video informative, be sure to hit that like button so I know to do more of these. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for more Destiny content. But anyways, thanks for watching.